Hi there, Jennifer here from Seekers Lamppost. I'm here to do a collective reading for the second week in June. So it's June 7th tonight. This will go on until probably around the 14th. I try to do these once a week. Remember, it's a collective reading, so parts of it may not resonate with you, even though we are all connected. Just so you know, though, take away what you need or what you want, but just keep the rest in the back of your mind because it might come up throughout the week. Because a lot of the times we're looking for something in particular, but sometimes what we're not looking for is actually what we need, if that makes sense. So you got to weigh out your wants and your needs there. Before we start, of course, I'm going to do a little psychic protection. I've been doing a lot of extra grounding in the past couple of weeks because I've really been struggling with the energy, which is odd for me because normally I don't. But I've really been kind of weepy and emotional and questioning everything that I'm doing. So I remember a teacher of mine said the brighter the light, the more bugs you'll attract. So I think I'm just not protecting myself enough because I've been attracting a lot of negative energy. And I'll tell you, throughout this whole pandemic, there's been a lot of reveals. People are really revealing who they truly are. And I have lost a lot of people that I thought were going to be, with me forever. But that's the way it goes. Sometimes people refuse to evolve and they stay where they are, and so they get left behind. And when they do get left behind, a lot of the times that's when the trouble starts because nobody likes being left behind. So then you end up getting some anger and some jealousy and, some other nasty stuff. But that's okay because we're protected, right? So I'm going to encircle myself in a bubble and I'm going to step into that bubble and shut sort of like an imaginary door behind me. So now I'm enclosed in the bubble. My energy is protected. So there's no way that any negative energy can sneak past or get into any cracks in my energetic field because I'm in the bubble and the bubble is keeping me safe. And I wish the same for you, but you can protect yourself any way you want, whether it's prayer, whether it's white light, whether it's sage. I also wear a rosary. I always wear a rosary when I read, and I always sleep with one under my pillow. I am not superstitious and I'm not afraid. It just brings me comfort and I just feel good wearing it. Okay, so I also want to, before we start, I just want to do my little spiel here about calling in guides and angels. Any beings from the white light they're welcome here as long as they come from the white light. They're going to guide us as we consult the oracle for guidance. And also, I just want to reiterate that any beings from anywhere else but the source is not welcome here and they are banished forever. I ask that I read the cards with pure objectivity and I don't project my judgments, opinions, or personality onto the cards. And I ask that we keep our space sacred. Okay, so something like that is always a smart thing to do, even if you're just going to read for yourself as well. So I'm going to draw one card from the Tarot of Dreams. I'm going to put it aside, and then I'm going to deal from the Rider-Waite. And I actually have a little spread that I'm going to do tonight, and just for something different, so that we can actually, instead of just going, well, it's still going to be general, but I'm just going to have a little bit of structure tonight. Normally, I don't use spreads unless I'm reading for myself, or if somebody has a particular problem that they want to work through. Then I'll use a spread. So we're going to pick there. So I'm going to put this deck aside. I may draw another card from it later, and I may not. It just sort of depends. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a 7-card spread with the Rider-Waite, and this is called Dumping Doubts and Fears. Okay, this is not my spread. I can't remember where I got it, but I have it in a notebook, but I did not make this spread up. I would never ever take credit for something that somebody else did. So unfortunately, I can't credit the person who did come up with it, but it is not mine. And I am so grateful that they were so wise and came up with this spread. So if I do find out where it came from, I will update you. Okay, well, these cards are falling all over the place. I'm going to take this from the fourth pile. Okay. If you hear any cats fighting, I have 4 cats, so just ignore it. Because I can hear them growling now, so they're starting. Jagger, knock it off. It's always Jagger. He's the bad one. Okay. So this is the me now. All right. This one here is what I am denying. Okay. This one here is what I am repressing. And this one here is what I'm projecting. I'm going to move these down because it's going to be a little bit. Okay. And then we've got this one and this one. This one is what am I compensating for? What will help me, sorry, I got it written down here. What will help me overcome my doubts? And then this one is what will help me overcome my fears. Okay. So this one is me. Okay. So we've got an Ace of Swords in the me. So this is really interesting. So this whole spread is basically what we're trying to dump. You know, what fears are we trying to dump? So we've got something new. We've got a flash of insight. Swords are about the mind, about communication, about intellect, about victory, truth. Okay, so this little arm is coming out of nowhere. It's offering us, it's upright. So it's an offer on the table that has to do with those characteristics that I just described. This card here is what am I repressing? Yikes. So we're repressing the Emperor, but it's upright. So there could be a teacher that we are too intimidated to ask for help, or it could be about a fear of success. Sometimes when we're successful, that means that the pressure is on because you got to maintain it, right? So let's go further and then we'll get into that get into that a little bit more. So this is what I am, that's what I'm denying. This one is what I'm repressing. This one is what I'm projecting. Let's start with that. Okay, let's start again. So we've got the Ace of Swords. That's about truth, victory, intellect, communication. All right, so this is a gift. It's an offering. This is, what am I denying? Well, which is pretty much, it's very similar to repressing, but denying is the same thing. We're denying that we have the abilities and skill to make this idea become something really great. Okay, so this one here is what I'm repressing, and this card then would be about creativity. Okay, so this is the Empress, which is the archetypal mother or mother nature, but it's also a highly creative card. It's creative flow. And this card here is what am I projecting? Wow, we've got a lot of digging our heels in here. So we're projecting. So we're projecting the fact that we're putting out there that we are not worthy for this happening. Okay, so the next card is, what am I compensating for? Okay, so, yikes. Wow, this is the Three of Pentacles. So what I'm compensating is that I don't have the skills in order to make this happen. All right, so we've got something really cool around us that we could actually be doing, but for some reason, we're not going forward with it. Okay, so now we have the Queen of Wands in the position of what will help me overcome my doubts. Okay, Queen of Wands, baby, that's all about self-awareness. When the Queen of Wands is in reverse, that means that you're either you just don't know who you are or what you want to create. All right, and then we have the 7. What will overcome my fear is the Tower. So that is the fall of the ego. All right, I want to explain something to you, and you probably already know this, but ego, I can't believe how much this is mirroring my personal journey for the last couple of weeks. But the Tower is the fall of the ego. You build something up on shaky ground. So you either half-ass it and then it falls. And then you take whatever it is that fell, the pieces, and you rebuild it. So the ego falling, ego can be that you're too good, that you have an inflated kind of like an inflated vision, or you think of yourself as better than everybody else, or it can go the opposite way where you think that you're just not good enough, that other people can do what you want to do better. And you know what? There probably are people that can do what you do better, but nobody does it the way you do it. Everybody has their own unique little spin on things. So what's going on here is that there is something new that you want to do. There's something new that you want to create. It could be anything. When I see an Ace of Swords, I mean, it's not a pentacle, it's not a cup, it's not a wand. So the Ace of Swords would almost indicate that there is, maybe you need more education so that you will up yourself. You can upgrade your position at work, or you can leave the position that you're in and move to another position. We are all kind of topsy-turvy right now and moving around, especially financially because of the pandemic. For me, this is actually, now I'm going to project just a smidge, just because I think that I'm being nudged to do so. The thing is that when we set expectations too high, and I don't mean, I've been told all my life, even my daughter said that your expectations are too high, and I'm like, how can you have too high of an expectation? I kind of get it now. It's not, the expectations for me are not too high. My expectations for other people are too high. I expect people to navigate the world the same way I do, and that's just not the way it works. And it's a good thing, really, because you need to have that variety. You need to have people who do things differently, otherwise we'd be all doing it the same way, or especially in your own individual worlds, right? So there's something new coming up. It's something that's more true, more soul satisfying. 100%. These two cards here are saying that you have all the skills and you have the will and the power to do it, and you have the control. I mean, you absolutely. But for some reason, we have these cards here that are working against. These are the cards, like this card here. When it's upright, it means that you're leaving behind something that you built up, and you're separating yourself from it, because even though this is wonderful here, it's just not soul satisfying. So you need to do something that is more soul satisfying. When it's in reverse, it means a thousand different things, but for this spread, I feel like when it's in reverse, it's like digging your heels in. It's like, I'm just not going to do it. I know I need to do it, but I'm not going to do it. Just like this Queen of Wands. She's not being true to herself. Queen of Wands is one of my favorite queens, probably because it represents the fire signs, and I'm a fire sign. So there's a little projection for you as well, plus the black cat. I mean, if you know me, I'm a cat person. I've got a cat with me everywhere I go. She's very intuitive. I don't want to say psychic, because I think everybody is psychic, but I like the word intuitive better. She's extremely intuitive, very energetic, extremely self-aware. So when she's in reverse, she is not listening to her intuition at all. She's still self-aware. She's just not believing it. So she's not believing in herself as much right now as she should be. The number 3 on this card is about expansion. And as you can see, it's a pentacle. So you can look at it as through a spiritual lens or through a work or financial lens because of the pentacle. It also, pentacles for me, it's anything that sustains life. So because of the earth alignment. So 3 is also about expression and expansion. So expression, of course, you're not asking for what you want. You're not saying what you want because it's in reverse. Again, it's that I'm digging my heels in and I'm keeping myself stuck. When we have the Tower like this card indicates that this shift has to happen. It's not going to go away. It has to happen. It's calling you to do it. You're only going to prolong your suffering if you don't answer this call. And like I said, you've got the skill to be orderly, to make sense of the chaos. So you can't blame the pandemic because you have everything that you need to do it. You have the creativity and the skill. And yeah, so this is something that needs to be done. This is your shadow card. Again, another reversed card. It's like, I just refuse to complete this cycle. 10 is the end of a cycle. It's in reverse. Some readers would read it in reverse better than upright, but it just sort of, with me, it just sort of depends on what my intuition says. So when I'm seeing this card in reverse, I'm seeing that it's, again, I am intentionally keeping myself stuck. So let's see what the Tarot of Dreams has to say as well. So we'll just grab that. Look at this. And then this card is the Devil card, which is about self-imposed limitations, right? This card for me, actually, this is interesting because this card for me is very appropriate right now. I really wanted to soul expand. So I looked at all kinds of different things. I looked at mediumship, which just not to be a medium because that's the last thing that I would want to do, but I just want to learn as much as I can. So I looked at a course on mediumship just to see if I could just learn something, expand my consciousness, just, kind of raise my vibration. But I decided against that, and I actually leaned more towards the Akashic records because I really am interested in past lives and the Akashic records. I don't know much about it. I just started the course, but it's basically kind of like a soul library. So when you tap into your Akashic records, you're pulling out information about previous lessons and lifetimes to help you navigate through this life. So I started doing this course online, and one of the first exercises was that you went into a meditation, and so you go into this meditation, and then of course you get to a door, you walk into a room, and in the corner of that room is your spirit animal. I am not a spirit animal reader, and I really appreciate all different styles, modalities, different people with different abilities, but it's just not something that I'm drawn to. But if I were to pick a spirit animal for me, I would think it would be more like the wolf, because my personality is very wolf-like. I like to kind of cruise around on my own. I'm very much an individual. I never walk to the beat of anybody's drum except for my own. It's just the way I am. No judgment to people who don't resonate with the wolf. I wouldn't even call myself an introvert. I'm kind of like an extroverted introvert. I love people. I don't like being in the spotlight, and I don't like being put on the spot because I go blank every time. That's why these videos are a big step for me. But anyway, I digress. Okay, but the first thing that I saw was a tiger, which was really interesting for me. And I'm thinking, a tiger, odd. Never ever have I had any experience with a tiger before. And then you walked with your tiger through a second door, and you sat on this bench, and on the ground, there was a gift for you. So for me, it was a bird cage. So this, I know I'm taking the long way. This guy is in a bird cage, okay? But what I saw in my meditation was me. I wasn't in this position, because this position too kind of looks a little self-indulgent, even though I can be the queen of self-indulgence. But anyway, so I'm in this bird cage, and my tiger is only like this big. So that's so weird. I said, my tiger is so small. So then I started thinking about tiger symbolism. and the cage. Okay, so like this cage here, of course, the door is wide open. So here I am sitting on the swing that the bird would be sitting on with the door wide open with my little tiger. So really that just mirrors everything that we were just talking about in this spread. You know, like a bird represents thoughts and ideas and freedom. And in some cultures, it represents the soul. You know, and I keep whining about I want his soul expand. I always feel like my soul is trapped in this vehicle that just can't satiate it, right? So what happens though is that because there are so many roadblocks for me right now, what I mean by that is that emotional friendships dying, family relationships dying over racism because half my family is racist. So I had to like, you know, I got to the point where I had to literally just say, you know what, just go your own way. And that for me, even though I am not an overly demonstratively emotional, huggy-feely person, my heart just is like, I'm afraid that if I allow myself to be emotional, that I'll explode. So, you know, just so, anyway, so I started looking to other people for guidance. Okay, so I'm looking outside of myself, like this spread is saying. You know, instead of trusting what I know, because I know myself really well, I started asking other people, you know, what should I do? Should I do this? Should I do that? And then they'd give me an answer I didn't like, or they wouldn't, you know, or no guidance at all. And then I would become the baby Aries that I am and start boo-hooing about it, right? So then I started distrusting myself. I didn't know what was best for me. I got into a position where, you know, when you ask somebody else to make a decision for you, sorry, there's dogs in here too. It's just like a zoo. You diminish your own power. So this is why a good teacher or a good friend may not even, you know, feed your insecurities, because it nudges you into your power. So it's actually a huge gift when someone does that to you. They're not doing it to you, they're doing it for you. But anyway, so trusting know what's right, you know, and diminishing these core negative beliefs that you're not good enough or that others can do it better. You know, it's easy to get into that kind of self-indulgent way of thinking. But the tiger, because the tiger was so small, that validates that whole, what I just said, because, you know, the tiger's rage is diminished, its passion is diminished, its primal instincts are not, you know, you're not trusting it. And that's where all that mistrust and self-doubt comes from, because your tiger is so small. You're so small that you can fit into a little bird cage. I thought that was really powerful. What a powerful experience, and what an amazing gift from the universe. So I guess what I'm saying is that this whole spread, even though it's a simple message, is that you need to trust that, you know, trust that little voice that is inside you, and you are good enough. And you know what? So what if other people are better at what you do? No one does anything like you do, because you have that unique flair. The other thing I was going to say is that you have to make sure that you're being truly honest with yourself. When this queen is in reverse, she's a very wicked, self-destructive queen, and she will tell you all kinds of lies. If you succeed in whatever it is that you want to do, don't be afraid of that. There's a lot of pressure when you succeed, because when you succeed, then the bar is raised, and you have to either, if you're a competitive a self, I'm not competitive with other people, I'm competitive with myself. So if you're that type of person who you are just a really, really hard worker and you're competitive with yourself, it almost hurts. It subconsciously or unconsciously, I think you sabotage yourself so that you won't succeed. So then you don't have to, then the bar is still low. So this is what this is all saying, is that be very, very careful of that. And this is kind of, you know, what this card is saying too. You know, normally this card is about addiction and self-limiting behavior, and it is, but I'm zeroing in on this, and this, look at this guy. like, you know, the headdress is sort of the headdress. If you look at it closely, it almost looks like the fool's headdress, but I don't even really take it that way. I take anything when I see anything on the head, I think of intellect. You know, it's showcasing intellect, but look at his even body, his structure. He's muscular and fit. So, you know, he's just playing small so that he doesn't have to maintain that playing big. It's like when you succeed, now what? Anyway, so again, even though I asked not to project, I did project, but I feel as though this was a healthy projection because it's going to help somebody else, I'm sure, who is in the same position or similar position as I am. We are all human and we all go through all kinds of phases, especially now, and especially if you're a spiritual person, or you don't even have to be spiritual. If you're just evolving and growing in your own way, this is the time that people are being really, not even nudged, you're being pushed into it because everything's changing and we can't go back to the way things were. So my Gemini moon is getting me to just yak, 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 yak. So I'm just going to cut this off, cut this short. I will, I'm going to add these up. So just bear with me because I cannot add in my head very quickly. So, 16, 36. So that's 9. So 9 is your number and it's the end of a cycle. How appropriate, right? So again, I could go on and on about numbers. I could go on and on about colors, but I want to keep these fairly short. So I do want to grab a numerology card for us, and then I'm going to do a quick oracle card. Oracle cards are not my thing, so I may have to cheat a bit on that and grab a book because I don't read oracles. I love them, but I don't read them. Now, interesting. Because this one is saying, on this side, it's saying relationship change. So this doesn't necessarily mean like a love or a personal relationship. This is a relationship with yourself, or it could be, you know, either asking somebody into your life to help you, because we don't like to ask for help. Like for me, I don't like to put people out, so I don't like to ask. So you have to ask for somebody. Or you need to get rid of somebody. And on the back of it is completion, which is 9, which validates everything that we just did. So that is super de-duper cool. All right, so we'll grab an oracle, and then and then we'll call her a night. I already shuffled the heck out of these, so I'll just do a little quick shuffle. Grab one that I'm drawn to. And 7th chakra, Angel Uriel. Okay, so Angel Uriel, I believe Angel Uriel is an earth, like he's aligned with, or has an affinity with earth. I'm not an angel reader either. I believe that he is, and I believe that he presents himself in ruby red usually, ruby red fire, and he's actually going to help you with this. So I'm going to grab the book because I know that I am, like I said, I'm not a oracle card gal. I have my friend Roberta who likes to do the oracle. So I usually get her to, when we go live on Instagram, I usually pair up with her and she does the oracles and I do the tarot because the tarot is my thing. So it's a spirit connections, intuition, and inspiration. The beautiful angel Uriel, also called Fire of God. I knew that. I did know that. Wears a brilliant crystal crown, vibrating with a passionate connection to the divine. We are all connected to the divine, by the way. She brings great power to your 7th energy center, which is called your crown, and it's located at the top of your head. This card, upright, and we got it upright, indicates an open and free-flowing channel of information and inspiration from the wonderful beings in the spirit world. This could also be a time of great intuition for you and guidance from your higher awareness. So allow yourself time to quiet your mind. Okay, so That's what this card is, upright, is that intuition. Now is a great time to get connected. The assistance from Spirit is great, and whether it's the presence of an ascended master, a powerful angel like Uriel, or just a loving friend or family member in spirit, their love and willingness to assist is always there. I believe too that Uriel likes to present herself in human form. So that's why you have to you should be kind anyway, but you never know who you're being kind to. And I really, truly, and truly believe that there are earth angels, that there are angels working here on earth. And that, I mean, don't just be kind because you're afraid you're going to get caught and, win or lose points, or you're going to win points by the other. Just be kind because it's the right thing to do. But I think that is something that is really important to remember, that all humans, all beings are precious and special, and deserve to be respected and loved, regardless of who they are, their station in life. Any of that is irrelevant. Let's see. Listen to this. They even open you to the Akashic records. Wild. The storehouse of all information. This connection is now open. And you will find that your own spirit and the spirits of those around you will be able to provide the answers you seek and the blessings you desire and deserve. So, beautiful reading for us. I hope this helps you out a little bit. If you want to get in contact with me and sit down and we'll do a reading, I just want to emphasize that I don't tell the future. I do not predict the future. I am a intuitive reader who is, my goal is to help you evolve and grow, enlighten, and empower. That's what I want to do. So shoot me an email at jctarot@yahoo.com, or you can find me on Instagram at Seekers Lamppost, or on Facebook at The Seekers Lamppost. And let's get together. Let's get connected. So thanks again. And I just want to flip this up. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jennifer, and I hope to see you really soon. Take care.